Hello, everyone. Good evening to all. I hope you guys can hear me out. Okay. Give me a yes and no in the chat box. Can you all hear me? Am I audible to all? Okay. Lovely.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. All right. So, guys, just to I first of all let me welcome you all. And today we are going to start off the advanced SD-WAN topic, which is the failover and the redundancy. Okay. So whoever has not yet gone through the basic the video the master class, the SD-WAN basic concepts, I would request you to go through it again because that will lay down the foundation for you so that it will be easier to build on that. Okay, because today what we are going to learn, today what we are going to understand is a highly advanced topic of SD-WAN. Right, it's something which I normally teach at NEC 7. Okay, it's an NEC 7 certification topic. All right. Having said that, let's go ahead and dig deep into this, and I want you all to be super focused onto what I'm teaching. There's one Google form which you guys must have received in the chat window. Has everyone got that? Yes, you may yes or no in the chat box. Has everyone got that Google form? So this Google form is basically to get your all your questions down. Okay, because once I start off, I'll mute you guys. The reason is because if I start taking questions in the middle, it will break my flow as well, and also it will create a lot of mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, complete the concepts, show you the configurations, and then we'll take a break in the middle. All right, and I'll take all the questions that you have asked. Okay, so Google form will basically list out all your questions. All right, as soon as you get the question in your mind, just put it over there, and when I take a break in the next 20 or 30 minutes, I'll go ahead, list it out, and start answering all of them. Okay, so we'll do this so that concepts are getting cleared, questions or answers are also getting cleared, and you are not even a single question is getting missed out. Okay, so do make sure that you're using the Google form rigorously. Around now, having said that, let's dig deep into it. Okay, one second, let me start the screen sharing. Okay. Okay, quickly give me yes or no. Able to hear me, and screen is visible to all of you. Yeah, great. Okay, I'm going to mute you all now. All right, and if you have any problems, challenges, maybe voice issue, screen issue, whatever it is, you ping me on the chat window. I have one eye on the chat. Okay, but if you have any doubts or questions, please do put those in the Google form link. Okay, I'll take it up in the next 20-30 minutes. We'll take a break, and we'll answer the questions, and then we'll move on again. Okay, be hyper focused. If you want to take a break, you do it right now. If you want to maybe drink water, coffee, whatever it is, because next 90 minutes is you are with me on this. Okay, sure, let me start off. Okay. All right, so now let's have a quick look into what we are going to configure over here. So today we are going to configure SD-WAN with IPSEC failover. Right now, SD-WAN with IPSEC failover means that your IPSEC VPN tunnel between two FortiGate firewalls, they would have the VPN tunnel up, and if in case one of the interfaces or one of the ISPs goes down, even then there will be no problems. The VPN would still be up. You would still be able to access the resources. Okay, so how do we get this to achieve in the lab? This is what we are going to look today. Okay, now the main interesting points that we have right now, or the main primary focus for us, would be FortiGate 1 and FortiGate 2. All right, so FortiGate 1 will be the one of the VPN interface tunnel would be established, and the FortiGate 1, port 1 will be used for another. So port 3 and port 1 are being used as what do you call, as a a dual ISP interfaces. Okay, or port 3 and port 1 will be called as two interfaces that will be used to connect to different ISPs. We can see over here we have ISP 1 and ISP 2, right? Now this for the lab purpose, you don't need to worry about that. What you need to worry about is how to configure this on FortiGate 1 and how to configure this on FortiGate 2. Second step, verifying the configuration. Third step, checking the resources. Are they able to access or not? And fourth is, if in case something breaks, how do we fix that? All right. So this is the four things that we are going to cover up today. Okay. Now, FortiGate 1 is configured with multiple IP addresses. All right. And I've mentioned all of them. Okay. So you have FortiGate 1 with port 2. That will be considered as your LAN segment, all right, with the IP address of 1024.3.109. Okay, and these are all /20 subnets. Okay, you have a PC4 which is having an IP of 1024.5.179. Okay, the next thing is come on to the FortiGate 2 side. So we have port 3 with the IP address of 1025.4.137, again /20. Right, and it is connected to PC5 with the IP address of 225.12.30. Okay, end goal is that from 1024.5.179 you should be able to access PC5 and vice versa. Okay, so they both should be able to access each other. Okay, regardless of whether the interface goes down or not, whether the ISP is working or not, you should be able to access them. That's the whole point of this SD-WAN with IPSEC failover. Okay, and most of your customers, most of the clients, all right, if they have a FortiGate setup or if they have any firewall, it doesn't really matter. If they have a firewall with multiple ISPs and they want to configure VPN on top of it, this lab would basically help you understand the concept, all right, and how do you implement that with the help of FortiGate firewall. Okay. All right, so we are clear with the resources. We are clear with what needs to ping what. All right, we know what IP addresses are being used. All right, just to cross verify or cross check with all of you. 1024.3.109 is port 2 for FortiGate 1, and the LAN segment is 1024.5.179. Then port 3 is configured with 1027.3.109. Again, it's a /20. Okay, and port 1 is 1026.3.109. Okay, so 27.309, 26.309. This will be used as ISP1 and ISP2 for FortiGate firewall. Then we have ISP1 and ISP2. All right, so these are going to just forward the traffic from one side to the other side. That's it. All right. Okay, the next side is ISP3 because the next side or the other side, the FortiGate 2, does not have any SD-WAN setup. It just have one single interface. All right, so you basically can call this as a branch location. All right, and FortiGate 1 can be called as an HQ. Okay, so HQ has multiple ISPs, branch has just one, but still we need to make sure that you have the dual redundancy network so that whatever happens, your VPN will stay up. Okay, so that's the requirement, and we have gone through the lab. Right, so now let's move on to what needs to be done. How do we need to configure this? Okay, I'm going to take up your questions in the next maybe 30 minutes. All right, so park your questions. I have shared a Google form link with all of you guys. Okay, so what you can do is as soon as you get a question in your mind, just put it over there. So what will happen is you won't forget it, and I'll have a list of all the questions. So once 30 minutes are done, I'll take up all those questions one by one. All right. So you won't forget, I won't forget, and we are making sure that you're getting the answers to all your questions. Okay, and the lab is going on as well. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the configuration part. Okay. Now, before I move on to the configuration, let me just quickly show you one thing. Okay. So these are the consoles of all the devices that we have. Okay. So I've already configured this, and I want to show you that what will happen, what will be the end goal. So the end goal will be if I ping 10.25.12.13, right? So if I ping this up, I would be able to get the response, right? This is the end goal, and it goes vice versa. It also works from the other side. So if I go to the PC5 and I say ping 10.24.5.179, And there you go. Okay, so we are able to ping. VPN is up, and let me show you that as well. Okay, so I'll open up my, I'll go ahead, open up FortiGate 1. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just give you a glimpse of what will happen, the end goal. All right, so glimpse is this. Okay, you'll go into the IPSEC monitor and you will be able to see the VPN 1 and VPN 2. Both of them are up, and there is some traffic, going in and out from phase 1, phase 2, and this is how it will look up. So if you go into the SD-WAN as well, you would be able to see an SD-WAN with multiple interfaces, all of them working, rules, there are certain rules in place. All right. So, and there are certain, performance counters as well. So we are going to look into those as well. Okay. So this is, as I said, this will be your end goal. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually factory format all the devices. Okay. Okay. So the first thing is I'll go ahead and do the FortiGate 1 and log in. And I'll say execute factory reset. Okay. There you go. Yes. And I'll do the same for FortiGate 2 as well. Okay. The two devices in question, admin, if execute factory reset. Now what I'll do is factory reset. Basically, it's not a power down or shutdown, so I have to shut it down from over here. Okay, we'll give it about a couple of seconds, and then we are going to log back in. Okay. Right. So now let's go ahead and power them back. Start. Now, just to let you know, ISP 1, 2, and 3, these are just to forward the traffic. That's it, nothing else. It's just a plain simple policy of all, nothing else. Okay. I'm just using the ISP 1 and 3 to get access to FortiGate 1 and 2. That's it. Okay. So there's no special configurations onto that. All the configurations, everything that we are going to work on will be on FortiGate 1 and 2. Okay. All right. So now let's connect back. Okay. And there we go. So we have FortiGate. Now see, it has taken up the default serial number. Okay, so we know that it's factory reset. And also in my initial videos, you must have seen this. If you log in for the first time to any FortiGate firewall, what do? There's no password. It's just blank, right? So you hit enter and then you change the password. Okay, so we'll do that. All right, now we are in. Okay, now let's see what IP address do we have. Do we have anything? Let's see, get system interface. You can use this command, or for simplicity, let me just use this, show system interface. Okay, and let's see, do we have anything? All right, so you can see the port 1 is DHCP. That is by default, and it goes for all the models of the FortiGate firewall. We can see port 2, 3, 4, and all the other interfaces, they are just blank, nothing at all. Right, so we know that we do not have anything. Just to give you confirmations, let me show you. Show firewall policy, and it's blank. Okay, show router static, and it's blank. Right, so we do not have anything at all. Now let's do one thing. Let's go ahead and configure the devices so that we are able to access them. Okay. Now let's see. I'll just move this a little bit so you're able to see this now. Okay. Let me zoom this up a little bit more. Okay. A little more. Can I do this? Okay. Okay. I think this will be easier on your eyes. So yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to configure the FortiGate 1. All right. Port 3 and port 1 with the IP address of 1027.3.109 and 1026.3.109. Okay, why am I doing this? Again, port 3 and port 1 is ISP for the FortiGate 1. Okay, so I'll go ahead and say config system. The first thing, before I move on to the interfaces, let me set host name. Okay, because I have to tell this as FortiGate 1. Okay, this needs to be identified as FortiGate 1. Okay, there you go. Okay, now let's go ahead and configure the interfaces. Config system interface, edit port 3, and IP is 1027 3.109. Okay, I'll put it as /20. Okay, just make sure that everything is /20. All right. What happened? Oh, sorry. Set IP. Yeah, there you go. Let me do a show command, and it doesn't allow anything. Okay, no ping, nothing at all. So I would need ping to confirm a couple of things. So I'll say I need ping, HTTPS, HTTP. Let's do an SSH as well. That's it. Do a show command, and you can see that the IP address is set. Allow access is set. Okay, it's always a good practice to use a show command before you save it, because it just tells you that, okay, what all configuration changes you have done and whether those are right or not. Okay, so it's a good practice. You should always do that. And end. Okay, and what I should have done the next. Okay, so end config system into. Oh, sorry. Config system interface, edit, and we have port 1. Okay. Now, one thing is, if I do a show command, it will show that it is DHCP, right? So we have to change the mode first, okay? So I'll say set mode static. Question comes up, why didn't I do that in port 3? The reason is that port 1 is the only interface which is on DHCP mode. Rest, all of them are static by default. Okay, so that's why I didn't do it on port 3, but in port 1 I have to, because by default it's DHCP, right? So that's why I changed it to static, and then I'm going to configure the IP address. So set IP 10.26.3.109 again /20, and set allow access. I need ping, HTTPS, HTTP. Sorry, yeah, SSH and HTTP. There you go. Do a show command, and that's it. Okay, end. All right. Now the reason is pretty simple, straightforward. Port 3 and port 1 are ISP for the FortiGate 1, right? Now we have configured the basic, configurations. Now we'll take up the GUI of the FortiGate 1. Okay, it will be easy for you to understand and follow as well, and you would be able to understand that, okay, why we are configuring what we are configuring and the reason behind that as well. Okay, so the FortiGate 1, I can access it via the IP address of this. Okay, this is my home router IP address, and I've configured .15 for FortiGate 1. Okay, so these will be different for your EVNG and your environment. So again, you can configure any IP address that you want. I'm using this one. Okay, 7.0. Okay, do you see this? The host name FortiGate 1, we are on 7.0.6. Okay, this is the firmware version which I normally use to train all my students on NEC 4 certification. Anybody is going for that, or anybody is planning to just master FortiGate firewall, I use this firmware. Okay. And yeah, I'm going to very soon release my 7.2 series, which is the latest for iOS version. So once I do that, I'll share it with you all guys as well. Coming back, so I'll quickly show you the network interfaces, and there you see. Okay, so I have configured the 1026, and we have configured the 1027 as well, right? So this is what we have to configure. Done. Then the next thing is that I have to tell my FortiGate firewall that I have, this will be port 3 and port 1 will be used as the SD-WAN. This will be used for VPN tunnel. So I have to configure this now, right? So what I'll do is first thing I'll go ahead and tell you all the configuration that you need to do on FortiGate 1. Then we'll move on to the other part, which is FortiGate 2, and then we'll do all the configuration there. And as soon as we'll do that, the VPN will start to come up automatically. So we'll see all those things. First thing is FortiGate 1. So let's begin the SD-WAN configuration. Okay. Now, the first thing is that see, when we are configuring a VPN over SD-WAN, the first thing which we have also we should always remember is you should not configure VPN and then think about adding it onto the SD-WAN. Okay, it's actually the vice versa. If you want to use VPN over SD-WAN, you have to configure SD-WAN first and then the VPN. Okay, how do we do that? See, it's easy. You need to click on the SD-WAN over here. Okay, then you know that we do not have anything over here. It's basically a default configuration. We do not have anything at all. If you go into the SD-WAN rules, it's just an implicit rule, nothing else. Okay, performance SLA, again the default rules, nothing else. So we are going to configure each one of them one by one. So what you do is you click on create new. Okay, okay, SD-WAN. Then you click on create new. You'll get two options: SD-WAN member, SD-WAN zone. Now there are two different feature set. Their function is different. Okay. Again, I'm going slow. All right. Reason is I want you to grasp this as much as possible because it's a complicated topic. It's an advanced NEC 7 topic. Okay. So I train students on NEC 7, then I take these concepts. So I want you guys to understand this from a very deeper level. All your questions are welcome. I welcome all your questions. Just put it on the Google form. Okay. And we'll take it up in some time. All right. So coming over here, SD-WAN member or SD-WAN zone. We have to create member first, and then we'll add all those members into the zone. Okay. So we'll click on SD-WAN member. And now look over here, you have interfaces, SD-WAN zone, you have gateway, cost, priority, these configurations, right? What you have to do is you have to click on interfaces. You can select a lot of interfaces, but I actually do not want to. You look over here, you have an option of VPN. Yeah, this is what we need. Okay, click on VPN to create IPSEC VPN for SD-WAN members, right? That's what we are going to do. Now over here, what we need to do is we have to, we are configuring what? We are configuring SD-WAN member. Remember that we are configuring a member. Member in technical terms, you can call it as a interface, right? We are, see, end of the day, what does SD-WAN has? Interfaces, right? Multiple interfaces through which it will load balance the traffic, or it will use different interfaces to forward the traffic. So member basically means interface. Okay, so I'm going to name this up as VPN1. All right, and I'll tell you why I'm using VPN1 is because the other one will be called as funny enough VPN2, so that you will know that okay, the traffic is going through either 1 or 2, or what's the reason behind them. Okay, so VPN1. Right, and what is the IP address? What is the remote IP address? Okay, let's see. We'll come over here, look onto the other side. There you go. All right, now who is the other side? Who is the responder or the VPN termination point? See where the tunnel is actually ending up. It's ending up over here on FortiGate 2 port 2. Okay, so 10.28.4.137 is the IP address. Okay, you see this VPN1 going over here, 10.28.4.137. All right, let's use that. 10.28.4.137. Okay, that's it. Don't need to mention any subnet mask. Okay, outgoing IP address. So I have to tell the FortiGate firewall that hey, you know what? If you want to access 4.137, you need to use which port? This one, port 3. Do you see this? Extreme left. Do you see this? 10.27.3.109. Okay. Port 3. There you go. 10.27.3.109. Click on this. And you have to give a pre-shared key as well. Again, we all know in the VPN that pre-shared key acts as a shared secret between the two VPN tunnels, right? So we are going to use that as well. So put in I'm going to use FortiGate. Okay, let me show you this as well. FortiGate. Okay, plain and simple. Click on next. Now see, it says that I'm going to create two interfaces, phase 1 and phase 2, and they're going to be named as VPN1. All right, go ahead, click on create. There you go. Now see, it says check mark because it has configured that. Okay, but it says it's down because for very obvious reasons, we haven't configured the VPN on the other side. We do not have any policies, routes, nothing at all. So that's it. That's fine. Click on close. Now, do you see this? You have a list of all the ports, but you have another one now, which goes by the name of VPN1, right? Now I'm going to create one more. Click on VPN. Okay. Again, VPN2, right? Now, what is the IP address? IP address will remain the same, right? Because it's just one IP, one port on the FortiGate 2 side, right? So that's why it still remains the same, 10.28.4.137. 137, guys. Any questions, any doubts, put it on the Google form. I'll go ahead and answer that as well. Okay. Pre-shared key, the interface. Now look over here. Let me show you this real quick. Now see, I'm configuring VPN2, right? VPN2 is over here. So what interface I'm going to use? I'm going to use port 1. What is the IP address on port 1? 10.26.3.109. Okay, so this time I'm going to tell that if you want to reach 10.28.4.137, which is the FortiGate 2 port 2, rather than going through ISP1, you want to go through ISP2, which is reachable via port 1 of FortiGate 1 via the IP address 10.26.3.019. Okay, so let's do that. Port 1, right? Pre-shared key, we know this. FortiGate, and there you go. Let me show you this. Okay. Next, go ahead, create, and there you go. Configured. Close. Now, again, we have VPN1 and VPN2. Great. All right. So now what we need to do is, now I can create a SD-WAN zone from over here as well. Okay. If I click on create new, I can do it over here. Or you can, go back and you say create SD-WAN zone. Both are fine. There's no restrictions on that. Okay, so I'll say I am creating VPN. Okay, it's a VPN zone, so that's fine, named as VPN, which will have VPN 1 and 2. Okay, so you have to add interface members. Okay, now I do not have any entries, so I'll create entries on it and just select the VPN 1 and 2. Okay, so I'll select VPN 1 over here and say, it says which zone do you want to add onto. So I'll say oh, it's not saying anything. Oh yeah, I know why. Okay, hold on. I always use the other method. Anyways, so I have created a VPN zone. I'll click on OK. There you go. So we have VPN. All right. Our default one is called as virtual WAN link. We are not using that. So we are going to use this. Double click, edit. Now create entries. Okay. Now I'll use VPN 1. Now, there you go. Do you see this? Now I have a drop down and I have VPN as well, because I haven't saved it in the last time, and that's why it was not available at that moment. But now it is. So click on VPN. Do not need to mention anything over here. Just add the interface VPN1 into the zone VPN. That's it. Okay, done. I'll create one more entry, and this time I'll select VPN2. Okay, and the zone is VPN. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Click on OK. There you go. We have VPN 1 and 2. I'll add this both. Done. All right. Do you see this? VPN 1, VPN 2, all of them over here. And of course, they are down because it's not configured on the other side. So that's fine. Okay. Now, is this much clear? Any doubts, any challenges? Put it into the Google form. We'll take it up. Okay. Put it all over there. I'll take it up in some time. Okay. So once this is done, okay, I'll go ahead and let's look into the other part of the configuration. So what we have done till now is pretty simple, straightforward, configuring a VPN SD-WAN zone with the interfaces. That's pretty much it. Okay. The next part is, can you guess what? I'm just agreeing with you all, guys. I'll tell you. So we'll go into the firewall policy. We'll go into the addresses. Okay. Now see, what we have done is, let me show you. So before I go ahead and create something, let me show you. If you click on VPN, you go into the IPSEC tunnel. Do you see this? You already have VPN configured. Where did we do that? It was in the SD-WAN. Remember? Now let me show you one thing also. I'm just giving you the reasons of what am I doing and what is the reason behind it. Do you see this? Phase 2 selector says all. That's bad, right? We all know that you cannot and you should not have all or any in a VPN. It should be very much restrictive, very specific, source, specific destination, specific services. Everything has to be very specific, right? So this is the reason I'm going to create new address objects. Okay, so as of now, I just wanted to show you that, see, you have VPN 1 and 2 configured. There you go. You have this over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create some address objects that I'm going to use and call into the VPN. Okay, so I have to create them first. So I'll go over here and click on create new, create address. Okay, and I'll say this address object is for the VPN, right? And I'm going to configure an address object for my local subnet. Okay. Subnet. And what is the local subnet for FortiGate 1? Just look and tell me. Give me quickly in the chat box. What is the local subnet or LAN segment for FortiGate 1? Yeah. Good. Okay, so let's do this. Now, again, as I said, remember everything is /20. Okay, so 10.24.0.0. Okay, and you can just say /20. That's it. VPN local subnet, and there you go. There you see this. Done. So what we did was we just created a local subnet. Now we are going to create a remote subnet. Okay, so again, for what we are doing this, for VPN we are doing this, and it's remote subnet, right? So remote subnet. Now what is the IP address? Quickly, what is the remote subnet for FortiGate 1? Put it in the chat box. Quick. Right. Brilliant. Good, you guys. Really good. So 10.25.0.0 again /20. Okay. Now again, I'm just using /20 just for the heck of it. You can absolutely go for /24 as well. But if in case you're going for /24, you might want to change it. So 10.25.12 dot something. So it has to be 12.0. Okay, you can do that as well. No problems at all. I'm just using this because it's one of my clients setup. So I'm just using that. It's easy for me. So okay, so click on done. VPN remote subnet done. So we have local and we have remote. Okay, there you go. 24 and 25. Now remember what I showed you in the VPN tunnel? Yeah, IPSEC tunnels. We have it over here. What I'm going to do right now is two things. Do you see this? All. Again, I'm going to change this up. So rather than all, I'll say VPN. Now again, local address. What is it asking for? The phase 2 local address for FortiGate 1. What is the local address? This is the local address, local subnet. Okay, we just created 1024. Then what is the remote address? Again, so remote subnet 1025, and save it up. Done. Okay. One thing more, guys, just make sure that when you are doing this, you are clicking on convert to custom tunnel. I'll tell you why. Because what happens is if you do not, then it uses default settings, default configurations. Sometimes it does not work. Okay. So what you do is you click on convert to custom. Okay. And then it will show you all the things which is, it's using and whether it's going to work or not. Okay, and it has more control, so more granularity, more control on your part as a firewall admin. So it's always best. Okay, so look over here. 1028 was 137 is going via port 3. Is this correct or not? That's absolutely correct. 1028 437 reachable via port 3 or the VPN 1. Absolutely correct. What is the authentication mechanism? Pre-shared key. What is the pre-shared key? FortiGate. That's okay. IKE version used is 1 with main mode, which is absolutely fine. What are the proposals that I'm going to use? So algorithms, you have DES75 and DES-SHA, and the Diffie-Hellman groups are 14 and 5. Now, what I'm going to do is, over here, I'm going to remove these options. Reason is, see, we are using evaluation license of your FortiGate firewall, right? So if you're going to use a higher cipher suits, there are chances it may fail because again, it's an evaluation license, not a full-fledged license. If in case you're doing this for a client or a customer, absolutely go with group 14 or 15. 21 is the preferred one always. So you can use that. If in case you do not want to, that's absolutely fine. But if it is a licensed device, go ahead with the higher defailment groups. But if you do not have, and you are also trying to practice this on your lab environment, they'll probably say use the one. Okay, it won't create issues. Otherwise, you will be stuck into troubleshooting issues, which is not really a technological issue. It's a limitation issue. Okay, so I don't want you guys to waste your time over there. You should be very much quick and clean when it comes to the configurations. Okay, so group 1, DES and MD5. That's pretty much it. I'm not changing anything at all. Okay, save it up. There you go. Done. This is it. Click on OK. What we did was we configured VPN 1. Right now, see, it is now saying custom and it says a template I'm using side to side. So I'm going to use make the same changes on to VPN 2 as well. So I'm going to double click this up and going to change the local and the remote addresses. Okay. Before that, look over here. Static IP address 10.28.437, but this time it's using port 1 again. Port 1 is VPN 2. Okay. So over here, you say local address is local, remote address is remote. Save it up and click on convert to custom. There you go. We are going to make this change as well. Click on edit, close this up, select 1, select 14 and 5, save it up. There you go. Done. Exactly similar in both the VPN tunnels. Okay, so there you go. Now see, both of them are showing up in the custom one. So VPN 1 and VPN 2. Both are using different interfaces, but those are VPN going to the same destination. All of them. Okay, look over here. Same destination, isn't it? 10.28.4.137. VPN 2, 10.28.4.137. Same destination, right? Okay, clear? Is this clear? Give me a yes or no in the chat box, quick. Good. Okay, so again, questions, put it up. I'm going to look into those real soon. Okay, so what we have done is we have configured the VPN part. Okay, now what we have done is on the FortiGate 1, what we did right now, we configured SD-WAN, right? One was SD-WAN. Okay, let me show you. We have configured SD-WAN over here. Okay, 1 and 2. Then what we did was we went into the VPN tunnel and then we changed the local and the remote, from the address objects. That's what we did right now. Okay, so we are just configuring the base of it. Okay, so we are configured the VPN tunnel, we have configured the SD-WAN, we have done all that. Okay, now what we are going to do next is to have configure IP address on your VPN interfaces. What do I mean by that? See, go into the network, go into the interfaces. Okay, I said configure IP address on the VPN interface. Now, where is my VPN interfaces? Yes, you guessed it right. One is under the port 1 and one is under port 3, right? Why? Tell me why. Give me a quick answer on the chat box. Do not unmute yourself. Just put it in the chat box. Why you see VPN 2 under port 1 and VPN 1 under port 3? Why are you seeing that? Because remember when we were configuring the SD-WAN member, okay, and I mentioned VPN 1, it was asking me which port it's going to be reachable, right? So that's why I selected port 1 and port 2, port 3, right? So that's why it is up over here. Okay, once you do this in your own lab, it will make much more sensitive. I know, because this will take a couple of attempts. Let me be very honest over there. So so first thing is you come into the VPN 1. Okay, you configure this with an IP address. Okay, it's this all comes in handy when you are troubleshooting issues. Okay, so IP, what IP you have to give? Any dummy IP, fake IP, non-usable IP, whatever you want. Okay, I'm going to use let's say 1.1.1.1. Okay, and I'll go ahead and say 1. So see, it says IP and then the remote IP. So who is the remote VPN tunnel for me? Port 2, right? But then the VPN tunnel of port 2, not the 10.28.437. That's the actual physical IP address of 10.28. No. I'm using 1.1, which is on a virtual interface, a VPN interface. Okay, so I'll be configuring another IP address over there. So I'll be using 1.1.1.2. I'm sorry, .2. So I should do. Okay, so this is the IP address that I'm going to use on the other side. Okay, so I'm just mentioning it over here, and I will say ping. Okay, so that if I want to, I can ping it. Okay, that's it, nothing else. Click on OK, and let me show you. So and there you go. Did you see this? You have the IP address. Now I'm going to use the same thing on the VPN2 as well. All right. I'm going to use a different IP address. So let's say 2.2.2.1, and the remote side will be 2.2.2.2/22. Okay. Click on ping, and there you go. So there you go. Now, if the question comes up that why am I using this, or why am I configuring these fake IPs or dummy IPs? Again, as I said, it is just to make sure that your tunnel IPs are reachable. If in case something breaks and you're troubleshooting, then these are the things which will come in handy. Okay, so that is why. If given a choice, do you really want to configure an IP address? No, not really. Okay, do you really want to have an IP address on the VPN tunnel? No, not really. Okay, it is just a good practice, so that if in case you are stuck in a bad situation and client is on top of your head, this will help you out. Okay, so anyways, we have configured the VPN1 and VPN2 with an IP address, right? Now let's move on to the next part. The next part is actually the route. See what we have done till now. We have configured SD-WAN. Basically, we have configured the interfaces that will be used to forward the traffic, right? The next thing was configuration of the VPN address objects. Okay, we have done that. The third thing is we configured IP addresses on VPN2 and VPN1. Yeah. The next thing is, end of the day, this will all work only when your FortiGate firewall knows how to forward the traffic. Am I right or not? Yeah. If your firewall does not have a route, will it forward the traffic? Will it even match a firewall policy? No. Think about a router. The first thing, what does a router check? The first thing the packet comes up, it's the route. If it has the route, then whatever ACL that you have, it will get applied to it. But if you do not have a route, nothing matters, right? Same thing applies over here. If you do not have a route, SD-WAN policies, VPNs, everything is waste of time. Yeah. So we have to go into the static route and tell my FortiGate firewall that, hey, you know what? If anybody wants to access a network which is 1025, okay. Okay, so if anybody wants to access 10.25.12.13 or 10.25.0.0/20, okay, I have to tell my FortiGate firewall that. So I'll say 10.25.0.0, okay, /20. Okay, it's a whole segment. And if somebody needs to access this, you need to use VPN. Now remember, this is an SD-WAN zone, okay? Right, there you go. Now see, as soon as I select this, the gateway column went away. You know why? Can you tell me why? Chat box. Okay, right. So see, the reason is because it has multiple interfaces, VPN 1 and 2. So you cannot really specify a gateway because it could use any one of the interfaces, right? So that's why in SD-WAN, it is always used to have a zone, and that's it. It doesn't allow you to put a gateway over there because technically it doesn't make sense, right? So VPN done, zone applied, SD-WAN applied, not the VPN. I would say it is an SD-WAN interface which is applied. SD-WAN is a virtual interface, by the way, guys. Okay, there's done. Click on OK. All right. Now see, we have an IP. We have an interface. We have a static route for 10.25. So if FortiGate 1, this guy wants to, if somebody comes from the LAN segment, let's say PC4, and he wants to access 10.25, FortiGate 1 knows that, okay, I can access it via the VPN interface, right? Not through a physical port 3 or a port 1, but via the VPN interface. Okay, clear enough? If not, quickly put up all your questions. I'll take up a minute. Okay, all your questions, Google form, quick. I'm going to answer all of them in the next couple of minutes. Keep asking questions. The more questions you ask, the better it will be, the better understanding you'll have. Okay, so static routes done. Now again, think about the next thing. Just think what we did. We created the SD-WAN interface. Next thing was VPN, address objects. Third thing was route, right? Now, logically think, we have the routes, we have the interfaces, we have the address objects, we have the VPN. What is missing? When does a firewall forward the traffic? If it has the route, when does the firewall forward the traffic? Chat box, quickly. Yes, very good. So firewall policy, you need to have a firewall policy, only then it will allow the traffic. See, the route is the first thing, it's the first priority. Okay, because as soon as the firewall receives the traffic, doesn't matter what, as soon as it receives the traffic, if it does not have a route, it is going to discard the packet. Okay. The next thing is, once the FortiGate firewall or any firewall for that matter finds the route, the next thing is it looks for the policy. Is the traffic allowed in the policy or not? If the traffic is not allowed in the policy, it is not going to, forward the traffic. So logical approach is that we have configured the SD-WAN, we have configured the VPN interfaces, we have configured the VPN configuration, we have the route in place. So let's go ahead and configure the firewall policy. And we know that we don't have anything at all right now. It's an implicit deny statement. Yeah. Let's create one. Click on create new. Okay. Now I'll say that, the traffic will be coming from LAN segment, of course, and it has to go to the VPN, right? So LAN to VPN. Now tell me, what is the LAN port IP for me? It's port 2, right? So incoming is port 2. I'll click on edit. I'll tell you why. I'm just putting as alias of LAN. Okay, that's it. And I haven't configured an IP address. That's weird. I haven't. Okay, quickly, let's configure this as well. I did forget. Yeah, I did forget. 1024.3.109. Okay, let's quickly configure this 1024.3.109/20, and there you go. I'll enable the ping so that I can ping the the systems as well. So that's it. Click on OK. That's a good, the best thing I like about FortiGate firewall. You can just configure anything from anywhere, right? All right. So we have port LAN, port 2. Outgoing interface, it's going to be port 1. I'll click on edit, and I'll say this is ISP1 for me. Okay. Or you know what? I'll say WAN 1 for me. Okay. Port 1, IP address is already configured. Click on OK. There you go. So WAN 1, select. Now tell me, honestly, what is the source for me? We configured the, the local and the remote, right? We're going to use the same over here. So local subnet, of course, because this side, I'm actually using 1024, right? So 1024, what is the destination? As I said, 1025, right? We'll do that. Service. For now, we'll take it up all. But if you want, you can use just ICMP as well, nothing else. Okay. Or whatever the traffic or whatever the resource that your client is actually looking for, you can use that. HTTP or HTTPS, Telnet or FTP, whatever it is. Okay. So I'll use the all for now. Okay. Now see, make sure your NAT is disabled. You do not need NAT, because if you enable NAT, then it will be NAT traversal, which is a topic which you can discuss maybe on a different class. But NAT traversal basically would complicate the matter more. Can you implement? Would you be? Should you be implementing that? No, not really. The reason is because if you are source NATing all the traffic, then what's the point? Right? How will you understand that where the traffic is actually coming from? So NAT should not be done if the traffic is going from your LAN to your VPN, unless there are certain exceptional situations which comes up. Okay, there is a situation which is called as same subnet on both the sides, where your let's say company A and company B, both of them are using 192.168 network, and you just cannot do anything about that. So in that case, you need NAT, maybe a different class for a different time, but yeah, you don't need to implement NAT over here again. Okay, is the reason clear to all of you? Because if you NAT everything, it will use the source NAT, and again the outgoing interface is WAN one, so it is going to NAT everything with with that, so it is not good. Okay, now just tell me one thing very quickly. I'm getting couple of I'm just looking at the chat. Okay, tell me, is this correct or not, or try to find the what's wrong with the configuration. Can you see something? Good. Good. I got a couple of questions, couple of answers. Good. So yes, you pointed out right. See, I just wanted to make sure that you guys are focused or not. See, the reason is, what did I say in the name? LAN to WAN, right? Sorry, LAN to VPN, right? So why am I selecting WAN interface? Correct. The traffic needs to originate from LAN port 2. That's absolutely fine. That's understandable. But why should I be forwarding that to the WAN port? No, not really. You should be selecting VPN. Okay. Again, why? Because I'm trying to access remote subnet. The remote subnet is 25, and that is reachable only via the VPN interface, right? So it has to be VPN. Okay. And I'll keep doing this, by the way. So keep your eyes and ears open. Okay. NAT disabled. Sessions on, because I want to actually look into all the sessions over here. Okay, that's it, done. Click on OK. Now see, once the tunnel is up, sorry, once the policy is configured for you, now see, it's a VPN policy. Always remember, for VPN, you should always have two policies, one from inside to VPN and one from VPN to inside. Okay, so you have to just do a right click over here and just say clone reverse. So FortiGate firewall is just going to create another firewall policy for you, but then it will be a reverse of what we just created. Look over here. What is the incoming? VPN. What is the outgoing? LAN 2. Correct? Isn't this just the clone of what we had? Okay, it's a reverse clone actually. So VPN remote to local. It was local to remote. Now it is remote to local. So now this, we know the name is very obvious. VPN to LAN, right? That's it. No NAT, nothing at all. And copy of LAN, I don't want all these things. So just remove. Enable this policy. Yes. Click on OK. There you go. So we do have two firewall policies configured. Now there is a yellow exclamation. Do you see this? It says all destination interfaces are down. Of course it's down. The VPN is not configured as of now. So that's okay. If you see this, it's absolutely fine. Do not worry about it at all. No configuration mistake has been done. It's absolutely okay. All right. So once this is done, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete this and then I'll take up the questions. Okay. Okay. All right. So the next thing is, see, what we did was the first thing. Remember what we did first? SD-WAN, right? Yeah, there you go. The next thing is that we have configured the SD-WAN. We have configured the firewall policies. We have configured the routes also. We have done everything that we should be doing. Okay, we are done with that. The thing is, what I said, IPSEC failover, redundancy. What this basically means that if in case something breaks, if the interface goes down, your VPN should not go down. But I need to tell this to the firewall. As of now, I've just configured the firewall so that if in case one of the VPN interface is not working, you have another interface. But how will I tell my firewall that switch over? As of now, I haven't told my firewall to switch over. I just told that you have two ways, you have two roads that you can take whenever you want to access a specific destination. You have two roads. That's it. I haven't told my FortiGate firewall that automatically, if in case one of the road is closed, take up the other road, right? How do I do that? Performance SLA. You see this? This will keep a monitor on the interfaces, and if in case something breaks, it will switch over. That's what we want. Okay, so we are going to click on create new. I'll say ping. I'll just keep it simple, straightforward. I'll say ping, and as a destination server, I'm going to use PC5. Okay, because that's the actual destination, right, that I want to access. So for any reason, if I'm not able to access that particular IP address via port 1 or port 3, I should quickly fail over. Okay. So go over here. 10.25.12.3. Okay. Then it says the participants, as in who should be able to ping this, right? So I'll say specify, because all SD-WAN members basically means that if I have, let's say, 2-3 SD-WAN members, SD-WAN groups, let's say, this will make sure that all of them are reachable, which I do not want. I want specifics. Okay, so I will say specify, and then I select VPN1 and VPN2. Okay, there you go. So the destination is actually the server 10.25.13. VPN and VPN2 should be reachable, and I have to tell them that you should match a target. If this fails, switch over to the other interface. That's what I want. So I say, the latency, latency should not be more than 25 ms. Okay. A jitter is basically a smaller packets, which can cause network slowness. That should also not be, it should not be less greater than 5 ms. So you should be having that. That's the threshold. Packet loss, 0%, no packet loss at all. Okay, and these are actual company standards. I'm not just randomly taking it up. These are company standards. Okay, there are a couple of my clients which they take it up as 15. I have one of my client which is a banking institution, and they have 10 ms. Okay, because they did not want any kind of performance issues on the network itself. Okay, because again, it's a financial institution. For them, every second is money, right? Okay, all right. So SLA target done. Link status, as in this basically means that how many attempts the system will go by before confirming that the interface is actually down, which is 500 ms, which is actually fine. So click on update static route, make sure that this is enabled. Okay, click on OK. There you go. Do you see this? So your ping performance SLA is ready. The next thing that you have to do is, which is only available via the the CLI. You cannot do it via the GUI. Let me show you what. Okay. Now let's see this. We have a ping. Okay, this is the performance SLA. Okay, configured to use VPN1 and VPN2, and the destination is 10.25.12.3. Right. So this is a way that the firewall will keep on pinging to figure out what is the best interface. Okay, that's one. Now the next thing is we are going to configure this on the policy. Now before I do that, I want to show you something really quick. Okay, see, if I open up the console, right, and FortiGate 1, we are already there. So let me log in. Okay, now what I wanted to show you is, if I take a capture, okay, the capture command is diagnose before packet any. Okay, this is all covered in the NEC4 course that we have. Okay, so that's okay if you do not know this, but this command is used to capture packets on the firewall to figure out whether the traffic is reachable on the firewall, one, whether the traffic is getting forwarded by the firewall, two, whether the policy is matching the traffic or not. Okay, so that's why it's able to forward the traffic, right? So all these things are able to we are able to understand from the packet capture. Okay, so we'll see what is happening because we have configured a performance SLA for 2512.3, right? So I'll say ICMP because we have configured this for ping, right? So ICMP as the filter, and I'll say 4 as the debug log. Okay, so if you give a question mark, it prints out all the debug levels that you have. So we'll use 4, which is the best. Okay, anyway, as I said, this is all covered in the course. Okay, so 4, and I'll take up let's say 10 packets. Okay, and L is basically the time frame. Okay, so time frame is the local time frame. Okay, so L is local. Enter. Okay, now look over here. As you can see, after 10 packets, it stopped. Now see, it's actually going to 10.25.12.3. Okay, and traffic is taking VPN 1, and do you see this 1.1? Yeah, remember we configured this, right? And it's also going through VPN 2, which is 2.2. Okay, now see the configuration that we have. Okay, the configuration that I'm going to do on the other side is your FortiGate 2. Okay, the other configuration, I'll also have to allow very specific source and destination. Okay, so I cannot allow 1.1 or 1.2. I would just allow traffic which is originating from the source of 10.24. Okay, now if your VPN policies are only allowing traffic for a specific segment, okay, and the traffic or the ping or the SLA counter is coming from a different IP address, it won't work because the other side will not allow it. The FortiGate 2 will not allow it. So the best thing is, or the best way to get around this is that you do this config system SD-WAN. Okay, you say config members. Okay, so members, remember, right? I'll do a show. You'll see this. Do you see this? VPN 1 and VPN 2. This is the member we configured via the GUI. Okay, now we'll take up one by one. I'll say edit 1. Okay, and I'll add just one command, which I'll say set source, as in, see, as of now the source is 1.1 and 2.2. You do see this 1.1 and 2.2 respectively. So for VPN 1 you have 1.1 and VPN 2 you have 2.2. I do not want this. I want that the source should be a traffic which is originating from 10.24 network. Why? Because that is the only network which is allowed, right? I'm just trying to repeat myself so that you guys understand and you get this quickly. Okay, so source will be 10.24. So I'll say 10.24.3.109. Now what is 3.109? There you go. Do you see this? The FortiGate's 1 port 2 interface. Okay, 3.109. So, and that's it. Hit enter. Okay, I'll say next, and I'll go into the other member, which is 2, or the VPN 2. Okay, and I'll do the same thing. I'll say set source. Okay, and 10.24.3.109. Okay, then that's it. End. Came out. Point is, why did I do that? Again, as I said, because the VPN policy will not allow traffic for 1.1 and 1.2. It will only allow traffic which is originating from 10.24. Remember, now I'm going to run the same command again. Okay, let's copy this up. Copy and paste. Okay. Now, do you see the difference? Are you able to see the difference? Do you see this? The VPN 2 out. What is the source IP? 109. VPN 1 out. What is the source IP? 109. So my point is, now when the traffic is received on FortiGate 2, it is going to say that, okay, it's actually coming from a legitimate source, which is 10.24. And hence, I'm going to allow it. Okay. Does it make sense to you, all of you guys? Yeah. Give me a yes or no in the chat box. Okay. And again, as I said, this is very, very complicated. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. All right. So if in any case you feel like you're not able to understand or follow, you put up as many questions as you can. Okay. As many as you can. Okay. All right. So now coming back. So we did this. Okay. We added the source. Okay. We added the source. So just to make sure that I'm not using 1.1 or 2.2, I am using a allowed segment, which is 10.24. Right now that's done. Okay. Now the next thing is you have to go into the SD-WAN rules. Okay. So see what we have done is the first thing which we did was VPN. Okay. We configured the VPN and which interface will be preferred. For that, we have configured the ping. Right now, we have to have a rule for SD-WAN to, tell my FortiGate firewall that what you should do. Okay. So I'll go ahead and create an SD-WAN rule. Now this is for the VPN, right? And this all is for the SD-WAN. So let's say VPN SD-WAN, and I'll say, source is local. Of course, it's going to originate from 10.24, right? So 10.24. There's no user group. There's no authentication in place. Okay, we'll keep it simple. All right. And the next thing that we have to do is the destination, right? So we'll go into the address column. Okay, click on this and then FortiGate or the VPN remote. Okay, 1025. Okay, so this is, I'm just telling my SD-WAN that if the traffic was originating for the local subnet, which is 1024, and is destined towards 1025, how you should select the interface. Okay, so what you need to do over here is protocol number is any. Okay, I'm not specifying TCP or UDP. It's any protocol. Okay. The outgoing interface should be determined on the basis of lowest cost SLA. Remember, we created a performance SLA. Yeah. So for that, we are choosing the lowest cost SLA, as in the, whoever is the best interface, use that. Yeah. So we are going to do that. And in the interface preference, you'll say VPN1 and VPN2. Okay, because and I have to select any one of them. I mean, as in, I can just not say, VPN1 only. Okay, because then it will not be a fair judgment. I have to select both. Okay, and then I'll say that the zone will be VPN and the members of that zone will be VPN1 and 2. All right, and the SLA that I'll be using will be ping. Okay, of course, this is all red because we haven't configured anything on the other side. That's okay. But from the configuration point of view, this is absolutely fine. Okay, so what I'm saying is these are the members, these are part of the zone VPN, and select the one which clears the criteria of SLA ping. Okay, so whoever clears that criteria, whoever has the best performance, it is going to take up either 1 or 2. Okay, is that clear? All of you, give me a yes or no in the chat box. Okay, pretty simple, straightforward. The rule over here is just to tell the SD-WAN which interface to select. Okay, so we did that. Now we have an SD-WAN rule in place, which will choose the right interface on the basis of the performance. Okay, the performance criteria is mentioned or created over here for 10.25.12.3 for VPN1 and 2. Okay, and then we have an SD-WAN zone for the VPN on which all the rules and regulations gets applied to, right? So this is done. Okay, now the next thing is we are done when it comes to the FortiGate configuration for FortiGate 1. Okay, reason. Oh, one thing more. Hold on. One more thing. Okay, so what you do is you cannot do this from the GUI, so you have to do it on the CLI. So what you do is you come on the FortiGate 1. All right, last step of the configuration. So you say you log in first. You say config router static. All right, let me see how many static routes we have. We have just one, and that says that if anybody is destined towards 10.25, use the SD-WAN zone VPN. That's it. Now I'm going to say one more thing. Okay, I'll say edit 2. And I'll say set the destination as 10.25 40.0.0 to 552.552.40.0, which is /20, right? I'll say set distance, okay, 15, and set black hole enabled. Now, what is black hole? Oh, sorry. Show router static. There you go. Now see, the destination for both of them are same. One says that use VPN zone, and the other one says black hole enable. So what does it mean? See, the how do I say this? See, what happens is that if in case the VPN, let's say for some reasons, the VPN was not up, okay, and both of the interfaces are down, okay. Let's say in your customer's organization, you have a default route. Okay, so what will happen is for 10.25, the traffic will go through the default route. Okay, I do not want that. I want that if the traffic for 10.25 comes up, it should only go via the SD-WAN zone. All right. And if in case the zone is for some reasons, worst case scenario, it is not up, both the interfaces, everything is down, then in that case, 10.25 network should not take any default routes, should not go through any other interfaces. It should only go through the VPN. This is the reason you use black hole. That is what the black hole means, that if the route that you have for the VPN, if it is not there, that particular destination will not be reachable from any other route. Even if you have a default route, it won't take that. That's why you have a black hole route. And this is necessary if you have multiple VPN tunnels running. Okay. Otherwise, it will create a lot of issues. Okay. So officially, we are done with the FortiGate 1 configuration. I know that we have done a lot. There's so many things we did. Okay. Just to recap, the first thing we did was the SD-WAN configuration, the members, right? Next were the interfaces. Okay, over here we configured the VPN interfaces with the IP addresses, right? So we had that done. Then in the VPN IPSEC tunnels, right? What we did was we used what you call it as the custom tunnel, okay, one, and we enabled the local and the remote subnet. We added a new address objects and we used those. Okay, that was done. The next thing we did was we came into the SD-WAN and we created performance SLA. Yeah, once the performance SLA was done, then we created something which is called as the routes. Okay, not the routes, but the source. Okay, SD-WAN member, I deliberately or forcefully said use 10.24 network IP address, not 1.1 or 2.2. Okay, like these. Okay, so after this, it was taken up by this the local 10.24 network IP address, so which was done as well. We confirmed, verified, and cross-checked, right? So this was done. Next was the routes. We already had one for the SD-WAN VPN zone, but we created one more, which was called as black hole. Okay, there you go, black hole route. Again, the reason is if this is not available, I do not want anybody else to use this. No default routes, no other routes. Okay, that's why. So black hole enable. This is also done. So FortiGate 1 configuration officially is done. Now we are going to move on to the FortiGate 2. Now, before we do that, okay, I'll go ahead and take up your questions. Okay, so we'll take up all your questions, whatever questions you have with respect to the configuration that we did. Okay, I'll go ahead and answer those, and maybe for the next 10-15 minutes, and then we'll go on. Okay, if there's no questions, no problem, but if there are, I'll take up those. So give me 2 minutes really quick. Okay, so I'm just checking quickly the Google form to see whether we have questions on this or not. Okay. Guys, I'll do you want 2 minutes maybe to put up all your questions, or would you like to unmute yourself and ask? I'm okay for both. Give me a quick yes or no in the chat. Any questions? Is the concept clear, as in why are we using this, and what's the whole point of using this? Is it all clear to all of you? Okay, so let me take up one of the questions. The question is from Prashant. Okay, so Prashant says where we can apply this SD-WAN configuration. Okay, so Prashant, what we can do in this situation is that this particular configuration or the situation that we talked about right now. Okay, let me hold on, share. Right. See, the setup that we are working on, or the setup that we are discussing. Okay, the SD-WAN with IPSEC failover. Okay, a lot of customers, a lot of clients, what they have is they have multiple ISPs, right? And since they have multiple ISPs, they ultimately go for SD-WAN. Reason is because SD-WAN gives you a lot of control over what kind of traffic can be moved across, if it is TCP or UDP, or maybe let's say I want to move 800 megs of traffic from one ISP and 500 megs of traffic from a different ISP. So there is so much of control over what you can do with multiple interfaces on the SD-WAN. Okay. Now what happens is, if you are using multiple interfaces on the SD-WAN, and let's say this client also has VPN tunnel, what will happen is, if the VPN goes down or interface goes down, VPN goes down. That's like a byproduct, right? If the interface goes down, VPN also goes down. So what you do, you have to create another VPN with another interface. Okay. Now what we are doing right now over here is we are configuring redundant interfaces, and we are creating VPN with those interfaces. What happens is, regardless of which interface goes down, it will not bother me. Why? Because either I would be able to access the VPN through port 3 of FortiGate 1, this side, okay, or VPN 1, or I would be able to access the resource from VPN 2 without even breaking the network, or breaking the system, or renegotiating the tunnel, all those things. Okay, so that won't happen, right? So this is one of the reason of using or implementing the SD-WAN with IPsec. This is just one situation. Another situation is that, let's say for example, you have tunnels running, okay, and not just one or two, you have, let's say, 40 tunnels running, okay, and for some reasons, interfaces always creates issues. So what you do is you create something which is called as a cost or a preference on the route. So route preference, what happens is, let's say ISP1 is always preferred when it comes to the tunnel, but when ISP1 goes down, it the firewall takes ISP2. Okay, and as soon as ISP1 comes back online, again the traffic is moved to ISP1. That is called as preference, VPN preference, right? So ISP2 is always like a backup. If in case ISP1 is not available, it will take it up the next one. If once it comes back online, it will again go back to ISP1. So these are the situations on where you need SD-WAN with IPsec, and a lot of MNCs, or the big customers, big clients, they normally use this. SD-WAN and IPsec are like they go hand in hand, and if anybody knows about this, it becomes easy to work with that. Okay, a lot of interviews, a lot of engineers, when they are going on, and if they just, even if they tell that they know SD-WAN with IPsec, they are, I mean, 80% they are anyway approved. They'll get the offer letter if you just mention on the resume that you know SD-WAN with IPsec. And if you're able to just explain what we are doing right now, I'm just saying, even if you haven't worked on SD-WAN with IPsec, but if you do this lab, and you have done this lab at least 2 to 3 times, let me tell you, if you are in an interview, and if the interviewer has asked you a question on SD-WAN, and if you just told him what we are doing on the lab, okay, you're there, you're 100% confirmed. The reason is, there are so less number of engineers out there who actually knows how to work with SD-WAN and IPsec. Because IPsec in itself is a challenging thing, but mixing it up with SD-WAN is more complicated. But if you know, if anybody knows about that, I mean, it is common sense. People will try to fetch that guy who knows about this, because that's knowledge, and knowledge is everywhere. Okay. All right. So now Arun has a question of, sir, if the customer have multiple branches, we need to create multiple tunnels for each branch. See, what happens is, Arun, what we are configuring is just one type of IPsec VPN. Okay, there are so many other types of VPNs as well. You must have heard about hub and spoke VPN, right, in the Cisco terminologies. So hub and spoke also is one thing which you can do on the FortiGate firewall. What you do is you have to create a VPN connection between the hub firewall or the hub network and the hub. Sorry, the hub network will take care of your branches. Sorry. So maybe I'll take up a different session on that. But yes, hub and spoke is a VPN setup where you can have multiple connections to multiple branches without having to create 50, 100 VPN tunnels. Any more questions before we move on to the last part, which is FortiGate 2 configuration of GT2? Okay, lovely. All right, so let's move on. Now, guys, as I said, you have the Google form, you have the chat window as well. Put up all your questions, whatever it is. Even if you're not able to understand, you let me know where exactly it is where you're not able to understand. So I'll try to repeat or give you a different way. Okay, just 1 second. Let me start off. All right, so now moving on to the next part, which is FortiGate 2 configuration. Okay, this guy that we have. Okay, so let's first thing is let's log into FortiGate 2, where we have there you go, FortiGate remote. I think FortiGate 2 is a better name. So FortiGate 2, let's see. Oh, I haven't powered this down. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 sec, real quick. 1 second, refresh. There you go. Stop. Power down again. Okay, coming up. Guys, just a quick yes or no. Are you able to all understand this? Yeah? Interesting? Excited? Loving it? Whatever it is, to let me know. Because end of the day, this is all about you. I want you guys to prosper as much as possible. And whatever needs to be done, you let me know. Okay, so if it is FortiGate, I'll try to help you out as much as possible. Okay, I understand, and I know that I've been busy and I was not able to fetch more time, but I'll try to do my best to give you the best. Okay, so let's log in, admin. Okay, and again, it's a factory reset, doesn't have anything. We're going to configure this from scratch, right? So we'll put in a password. You can put in any password that you want, and that's it. So we are going to first change the host name. So config system global, set host name, and I'll say FortiGate 2. Okay, Done. And the next thing is the interfaces, right? So let's take up the interface section. Let me do this. Yeah. Okay. So config system interface, edit port 2, set IP 10.28.4.137/20, set allow access, ping, TPS SSH, telnet, and actually I do not need telnet, and SNMP as well. There you go. Next, and I'll say edit port 3, set IP 1025.4.137/22, set allow access. I need HTTPS, HTTP, ping, SSH. That's it. And there we go. And okay, now let's log into this guy. Okay, FortiGate 2. And begin. That's it. That's fine. Okay, do not show again. Okay. So this happens, the first time you log in, it does give you a prompt of, what are the new features and functionalities of the 7.0 version, and what else you can do about that. Okay, so again, that's all default settings. Okay, the next thing that we have to do is pretty much same, but from the other side. Okay, so let's see. So we have already configured the interfaces. Yes, directly, and I mean it, directly go into the VPN, because there's no SD-WAN configuration, I think, at all. You do not need to do anything like that over here, right? So what you do is you just need to go over here, click on the IPSEC. Okay, click on create new IPSEC tunnel, and I'll say, it's a VPN 1. Okay, so click on next. Says IP address. Now tell me, what is the IP address? Quickly tell me, what is the IP address? Look into over here. I am on FortiGate 2. I want to configure the VPN tunnel for the other side. What IP address? Quickly. Chat box, yes. Nope. Wrong answers. No. Okay, so yeah, a couple of you guys gave the right answers, and few of you gave the wrong ones. So guys, see, I am on FortiGate 2, right? Where am I creating a tunnel to? On the other side of FortiGate 1, right? How many tunnels do I have to create? I have to create 2. The only difference is FortiGate 1 has the functionality of SD-WAN. I do not. I'm a branch location, I'm a smaller location, I do not need it. I just have one interface, port 2, which is being used for my ISP. So I do not need it. But since the other side is using multiple interfaces, I have to create separate VPN tunnels. Okay. I do not have any failover mechanisms and that sort. I just have a VPN. That's it. Okay. So I'll create a VPN with port 3, which is 1027.3.109, and then I'll create another VPN for 1026.3.109. Okay. So over here, I'll use 10.27.3.109. Okay. Now, of course, for me, it's just port 2. Okay. Pre-shared again, it's FortiGate. All right, let me show you this quickly. Yeah, there you go. Next. Now, local interface. Let's see. Local interface is port 3. Okay. So local interface port 3. So it automatically, takes it up that, okay, 10.10.25 is my local segment. What is remote segment? Tell me. 10.24.0.0/20. Okay. Pretty simple, straightforward. There you go, done. Click on create. That's it. It has created all the necessary address objects. Okay, that's the best, the beauty of IPSEC wizard. It's a wizard. It just, creates a group for you for the whatever the segments that we used. Okay, the IP address that we mentioned, it created the address object for that. It created the interfaces for it. It created the routes for it, black hole routes, everything. Even the firewall policies. Look over here. We did so many things over there, and over here it was just a couple of clicks and done. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll create another one, add another. Okay, and I'll say VPN2. Whatever little modifications we need, I'll do it later, but I'm just creating the tunnels for you right now. Okay. Remote IP address. Now I'll use the other IP of port 1. Yeah. Now this time I'll be using 10.26.3.109. Okay. And again, for me, it's always port 2. Okay. FortiGate is the pre-shared key. There we go. Click on next. Local interface. Now again, it's the same thing. Local interface always remains the same, 10.25. What is the remote 7? Again, same, 10.24.0.0/20. Right? Now what this wizard is doing, so I just entered segments. Yeah, it is going to create the address objects automatically. So I'll click on create next, and there you go. Do you see this? It says object summary. This is I'm going to create all of these things. So it's going to create a static route, black hole route, local policy, remote policy, VPN interfaces, everything. Yeah, click on create. There you go. All of them done. Shown that list. Do you see this? Now we have VPN 1 and 2. Okay. Now remember, if you remember, let me show you quickly so it will be easier. So if you go into the FortiGate 1, the one which has the SD-WAN, right? If you go into the IPSEC tunnels, these are custom tunnels. Remember this? These are side to side. These are template ones. And this is the custom tunnel. Why is it custom tunnel? Remember, I used certain changes. I made certain changes over here. I removed the higher group settings and lower down the DES75 area. Okay. We are going to do over here the same on the FortiGate 2 side as well. Otherwise, the VPN tunnel will not be up, right? We all know this. It's basic VPN that you have to have the same configuration or mirror configuration on both the sides. Yes, only then it will work. So convert to custom tunnel. Okay, we'll click on this. But before we do that, actually, we already have this. Great. Okay, so convert to custom. Okay, 10.27.3.109 port 2. This is okay. Main mode, fine. Yeah, proposal. This I have to change. So remove 14 and 5, enable 1, remove this, just SMD5. This is, there you go. We'll check, done. VPN 1 local, VPN 1 remote. This is absolutely fine. We click on OK. Okay, now we'll go into the second one. Again, convert to custom. Okay, click on edit, proposal 1, close this out, select 1, deselect 5 and 14, check, click on OK. There you go. So we have this done as well. Okay, the next thing is, let me remind you again. So what we did was in the interfaces, you remember under the VPN interface, we gave them 1.1. Remember, VPN 1 IP was given as 1.1 and that remote IP was given as 1.2. Now I'm going to do the same over here. I'll go into the network interfaces. Yeah. You have VPN 1 and 2, right? But no IP address, correct? So double click. Now, what IP address do I have to give? Tell me, quick chat box. 1.1.1. Yeah, 2. And what is the remote IP? 1.1.1. Okay, with the ping. Click on OK. So we have VPN 1 over here with the IP address, but we'll configure the VPN 2 as well now. Okay. Two and 2.2.2.1/2. There you go. So we have both of them as well, VPN 1 and 2. Okay. Now the next thing is, tell me, what is the next thing? Okay, so the next thing is routes. Okay, so we, again, as I said, route is everything, right? So look over here. How many routes you have? You have a route for VPN 1 remote. Okay, now see over here, if I just hover over the destination, it just says it's a member and the member is VPN remote subnet. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just for easy for you to understand this, I'll do this. Let me show you. Rather than saying VPN 1 remote, okay, I'll take up VPN 1 remote subnet 1, which actually shows you the subnet as well, right? So I'll take this up. Click on OK. And I'll say the other one, VPN 2 remote. Yeah. I'll take up this and I'll say VPN 2 remote subnet. Okay. Okay. Because VPN 2 remote is actually nothing but VPN 2 remote subnet 1. Do you see this? Member section. There you go. See this? So I've already selected that. Reason is because once you do this and I hover over this again, it at least show me that what address object I'm using, right? This is the only reason. And this is for my own easy, I'm able to quickly understand this. That's why there's no, what do you say, a technical reason for it. No, it's just to make it simple and easy for you. I'll just come over here, hover over it, and I'll know that, okay, it's 1024. So I'm actually right or not. Okay, there you go. So this is done. Now the next thing is, so the next thing is that if you look over here, I'll go into the advanced options. Now see, what is the administrative distance? 10. Let me show you one thing more over here. See this? You have VPN 1. Okay, I'll select this up and you have VPN 2. Okay. The one which are unchecked, those are black holes. So ignore them. You have remote subnet 1 and remote subnet, the other one for VPN 1 and 2, right? VPN interface 1 and 2. Okay. Gateways are different, of course. Look at the distance. It also has 10. It also has 10. Now, what I'll do is I'll say for the VPN 2, I'll increase the priority to 10. The reason is so that it will always prefer the VPN 1. And if in case the VPN 1 is down, the traffic will take up VPN 2. Okay. And once the VPN 1 comes back online, it will again switch over to the VPN 1. Are you able to follow me? The reason or the logic behind using the priority, look over here, priority as 10, is because I want that VPN 1 should always be the prior one, the first one. And if in case something breaks and VPN 1 goes down, no worries, you have VPN 2 for it. And once the VPN 1 comes back online again, still, go ahead, fall back and use VPN 1 again. So that I'll always prefer VPN 1. And if in case something breaks, I have VPN 2. Okay. This is the reason behind using the priority. If you do not want this, you can keep it as 1. That's okay. So what will happen is if in case VPN 1 goes down, it will stay on VPN 2 and it will remain on VPN 2. It will only go back to VPN 1 when you have something, let's say VPN 2 breaks down. Then only it will go back to VPN 1. That's why. Otherwise, if you have a preference, then probably use the priority. If you do not have a preference, you can keep it as equals. That's absolutely fine. Now let me do one thing more. So we are on FortiGate 2, right? We'll go to the dashboard. Okay. And click on this, which is called as add monitor. So you click on this and say IPSEC, click on that, add monitor. There you go. So what will happen is you will have an IPSEC monitor where you would be able to see, all the VPNs that you have. Okay. Let me log in over here as well. Yeah. Okay. So we'll go into the dashboard. We'll go into the add monitor and where is IPSEC? Oh, that's weird. IPSEC. Yeah, there you go. And monitor. You go into dashboard, IPSEC monitor. There we go. Okay, so we have it over here. Now, with respect to the configurations, we have done the configuration on both the sides, but then still, do you see this? The traffic is, or I should say, VPN is not coming up. Yeah, do you see this? I can bring up, it's not coming up. So what's the problem? Okay, let's do some troubleshooting. That is what is going to help us, right? So let's try to understand this. Okay, the first thing which we have to understand is your customer can come up like this. Okay, that hey, you know what, we have configured everything and the VPN is not coming up. What will you do? Yeah, what will you do in this situation? So the first thing is, it's always best to have some POTI session with the FortiGate firewall. Okay. Now what you do is you log into one of the VPN initiators. Okay, and log in. So I'll take up FortiGate 2. Okay. Randomly I'm taking FortiGate 2. Run this command. Okay, and also please save this command somewhere. It will help you out a lot. Diagnose, debug, application. Okay. You know what? I do not want to make it confusing for you guys. I'll try to keep it simple and straightforward. Tell me one thing. When it comes to the VPN, what is the first thing that you have to check? Tell me, chat box. What is the first thing that you have to check? Right. Yes. Parameters is absolutely okay. But even before the parameters, what is the thing that you have to check? See, if you think about this from a very simplistic manner, the first thing is the traffic needs to reach FortiGate 2, right? From FortiGate 1, okay, from FortiGate 1, the traffic should reach the FortiGate 2 on port 2, and then only the negotiation will happen, right? So for the negotiation to happen, the traffic should reach over here. So let's first of all confirm, am I receiving that VPN traffic or not? How do I confirm that? So you say diagnose sniffer packet, any. Okay, now I'll say port 500. We all know port 500 is for the VPN, right? Standard. So we'll take up 4 and I'll say I'll capture 10 packets and LS is the local time. So I'm just trying to figure out whether I'm receiving any packets on this FortiGate 2 or not. If I'm not receiving any packets on this particular firewall, then there's no point. Okay, then there's no point of having any negotiations, right? Now tell me, this happens a lot with a lot of engineers out there. They start troubleshooting VPN. Okay, and they fail to understand that we have to first of all confirm whether traffic is even received or not. And I'm giving you actually examples that one of my known student, okay, so he was stuck on this for a couple of hours and then found out that traffic was not coming from the ISP itself, and we were and they were taking some debuggings on the VPN, okay, and they were stuck over there. So because of course the debug of the VPN were also not giving the right information for some reasons, but yeah, point is, first thing is capture to understand, are you receiving traffic or not? Yeah. Now see, it's been a minute or more and we have still not received any packets. So we know FortiGate 2 is not receiving the packet. So that means first thing will come into the FortiGate 1 and I'll see, is FortiGate 1 sending the traffic or not? Yes. So same thing. We'll go and start a packet capture diagnose sniffer packet any. I'll say port 500 40L. Okay. And let's see if we have something over here. Okay, so basically no packets is going from FortiGate 1 as well. Okay, all right. So I know one thing, which is that on FortiGate 1 and 2, I do not see any packets. So basically this means that the traffic is not getting forwarded, and from both the sides, right? If the traffic is not getting forwarded, then think, what is it? I mean, what will be the reason behind a firewall not sending a VPN traffic on the other side? Some configuration issue, right? Something is something is broke over here. How will I confirm this? Again, now let me go ahead and tell you the command which I was going to tell you before the packet capture. Write this command down. This is going to be one of the best commands to use when it comes to the VPN troubleshooting, because you say diagnose, debug, application IKE -1. -1 is basically all debugging information that you can get. Okay. One thing more, as soon as I hit enter, it will start showing me debug outputs. So make sure that you have diagnose, debug, reset command also. So I'll hit enter. Okay, now what will happen is that you see this, yeah, traffic has started to come up. Okay, now I have to stop this up. Okay, of course. So I'll say diagnose, debug, reset. Okay, enter. There you go. Let's see, what does it say? Could not send IKE packet, P1 retransmit. So this in itself is telling you what is the problem. Could not send IKE packet. Could not send IKE packet basically means that your firewall is not able to send a packet. right? Now, what is the reason behind it? Why would firewall not is not able to send a packet? Okay, let's see. That's only one thing. I'm sorry. Only one thing. What is the command to check the routes? Or you can use the GUI as well, right? But tell me, what is the command? I did show you today, right? Okay, good. Show router static. I guess we have couple of okay. Go through it. See if you're able to understand this. Now, see if you look closely, you have you have a route for VPN. Okay, you have a route for VPN 2 as well. Yes, and you have a black hole as well. Okay, but just let me show you one thing more. Just giving you two methods of verifying. So if you again, you can write this or note this down. Command get router info routing table. Okay, and then you say all. Look over here. It says I have 1.1 reachability with the VPN 1, well, a 2.2 reachability directly connected VPN 2. Okay. And then 1024 is a summary null. This is your black hole route. Okay. And then says 1025 network is directly connected because of port 3. And 1020 is directly connected port 2. Tell me one thing. What is my, I have to reach 10.27 network, right? 10.27 network. I have to reach that. Do I have any route which says to how to reach there? I do not have any route, right? Okay. There's one more way of figuring this out. What you do is you say get router info, routing table, you say details, and then you put the IP address of whatever destination that you want to access. Okay. So 10.27.3.109. Yeah. Enter. See what does it say? Network not in table. This is what I was trying to show you or tell you, that I do not have any route for that particular traffic, for that particular destination for FortiGate 1. How will I reach there? This is the reason you are getting could not send IKE packet. Are you able to follow me? Guys, can you all follow me over here? Yeah? Does it make sense to all of you? Yes? Give me a yes or no in the chat box. Now, it's pretty simple and straightforward. Now we know that, okay, we don't have a route. And I said multiple times, firewall needs to have a route before it forwards the traffic. So what I'll do is I'll say config router static. I can do this from the GUI as well. You can do it from the CI as well. It's absolutely fine. What you say is, you do a show, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 IDs are already used. So I'll say edit 5. Okay, and I'll say set destination, and I would have to reach 10.27.0.0. Okay, and let me see, does it take 20? Let me see. Set destination. Yeah, it took it up. Okay, so I need to access 10.27, and the gateway for this. Sorry, hold on. Set gateway. Yeah. So for the gateway for this would be 2. Will be 10.28.4.136. Now, who the hell is this IP address? Set device port 2. Sure. 10.28.4.36. Who the hell is this guy? This is the guy, ISP3. Do you see this? For FortiGate 2, who is the next upstream device? ISP3, correct? So I'm just saying that here what? If you want to access 10.27 network, please forward the traffic to ISP3 port 2. Okay, and ISP3 port 2 has an IP address of 4.136. Okay, that is the reason. I'll say next, edit 6. Okay, new entry added. And I'll say Same thing, set destination, but this time I don't want to reach 1027 because I have already told FortiGate 2 that if you want to reach 1027, use the port 2. Okay. But now the next destination will be 10.26 network, right? Remember, because VPN 1 is used on port 3, 1027 network, one is used on port 1, 1026 network. So FortiGate 2 needs to know how to reach both, right? So I'll say set destination 10.26.0.0/20. Set device, again I have to use port 2 because I do not have any other port, and I'll say set gateway will be same IP address. There's no change over there as well. So 10.28.4.136. there you go, done. Okay, now let's see whether we are able to send the traffic or not. Okay, so same command, diagnose debug application IKE -1. Okay, and there you go. Do you see this? Send IKE message. Do you see this? Does it make sense to you? Now it is able to send the traffic. Yeah, diagnose debug reset. There you go. Good. I like this now. Is it clear, all of you? Do you know how to approach a troubleshooting step when it comes to SD-WAN? Yeah. Again, you have to do this. You have to practice this a lot of times. Again, different methods, different situations, and then it will be easier for you. And but yeah, this is how you start. This is how you step. Baby steps, one by one, and then moving on to the difficult parts. Okay, FortiGate 2 done. Now let's look over here on the FortiGate 1 side. Now again, we'll do the same logic. We'll apply the same logic over here as well. Admin if get router info routing table details. Okay, and where do I have to reach? 10.28.4.137, right? So 10.28.4.137. Can I reach there? No, I do not have any network. Okay. So let's put in some routes. Yeah. So show router static. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to say edit 3. Okay. Now 10, sorry. One second. Okay, so let's add a route over here. Now we know that we have to add for 10.28.0.0/20. Okay, set gateway. Now I'll be using two gateways. Okay, I'll be using 10.26.3.1110. Okay, again, who the hell is this guy? Yeah, there you go. 1026. So I'm using this ISP2 and this ISP1. Okay. So for 1028, I can reach via gateway 1, which is gateway 1026.310. Okay. And of course, it's reachable via port 1, right? We'll say next, edit 4. Okay. Set destination, right? The destination for me this time would be what? Tell me. Same destination, right? There's no change over there. 10.28.0.0/20. Okay. Set gateway. Okay. But this time 10.27.3.1110. Okay. Set device port 3. Okay. Let me show you. So 10.27.3.110. Who is this? There you go, 10.27.3.110. So do you see this? So I'm saying I can reach 10.28 via port 1. Okay, there you go. This was the one. And I can reach via port 3 as well by using these two as the gateways, 10.27.3.110, 10.26.3.110. Okay, this is what we did. Let me show you. Show router static. So if you do this, you have two routes over here. Now, if I run that command, get router info routing table details. Okay, and I'll say 10.28. What was the IP? I forgot. 10.28.4.137. Okay, 4.137. Yeah. See this? Now it says, okay, that I can reach via port 1, I can reach via port 3 as well. That's it. That is what it needed. Okay. Now let's see. Let's log into the FortiGate firewall and see if it didn't make any difference or not. Okay. So we'll log into the FortiGate one because it has SD-WAN setup as well. So we'll see whether this has worked or not. So see, it is still not up, and it says, hey, there you go. Do you see this? VPN 1, VPN 2, the phase 1 is up. Yeah. Do you see this? I'll go ahead and say all phase 2 selectors. There you go. Okay. I'll say for VPN 2, all phase 2 selectors. There you go. Awesome. This is great stuff. Yeah. So we can see that VPN 1 and VPN 2, both of them are up. Okay. And I just, forcefully enabled it from the firewall itself. The real task is to access this machine. Yeah. So we'll do this. We'll log into the PC4. Okay. And let's see. Let's try this out. It says 10.3.109. That's my gateway for this machine actually. Timing out. Okay. That's good. That's good. It actually tells me there's some problem. Now tell me again a situation. Your VPN tunnel is up. Yeah. But you're not able to access the resource. Man, that's one of the bigger problems, right? Your VPN tunnel is up. Still you're not able to access the resource. Now what to do? How would I troubleshoot that? Okay. Again, same stuff. We have to understand where the problem is, right? How will I pinpoint the problem? Where am I right now? I'm on PC4. Okay, let me show you. So I'm on PC4, which is this machine. Now I'm trying to access 1025 and I'm getting a response. This destination network unreachable. So basically, who is sending me this? 3.109. Who is 3.109? My FortiGate 1 port 2 IP address. Okay, let's see where the problem is. So we'll go into the FortiGate 1. Okay, and I'll see if I can ping this guy. Okay, because reachability is also the major thing, right? Can I ping 1024.5.179? Okay, let's try. Execute ping 1024. What was the IP? 5.179. 5.179. I am able to ping, so I do not feel there's a problem over there. Okay, so I'll check show system interface port 2. I do have an IP address as well, so that's good. Then what's the problem? I do have a route as well, so get router info routing table details 10.25.12.3. Do I have a route? I do, but there you go. Do you see this? See this. This is the problem. It's inactive. Okay, so if I remove the IP address and I say just the details, do you see this? So 10.25 is a summary, and that's it. I cannot reach 10.25 network. So this command show you the forwarding information or the forwarding routing table. Okay, so it says I do not have anything, but if I run database, it will show me the whole routing table, as in your routing information base and forwarding information base, RIB and FIB. Okay, now look over here. In 1025, I have a summary, and then I also have via VPN 1 and VPN 2, but then it says inactive. That's the problem. It's inactive. Why is it inactive? That's what we have to figure out, right? Why is it inactive? Let's see. Over here, it says, the VPN tunnel is up. Okay. So let's see. Do I have policies in place? I do have a policy, but then it's all 0. That means firewall, the traffic never never hit the policy, meaning something before the policy is breaking. So before the policy is breaking, that means what is before the policy? Routes, right? So I have to check the routes. Yeah, let's see. Let's go into the static routes. Do I have a static route? I have 1025 and it goes through the VPN. So I do have a route. Okay, and I have a black hole as well. Okay, and that's it. So I do have a route. Then what's the problem? Okay, let's see. If I go into this SD-WAN, let's see. Do I have this configured? VPN 1 and 2. Yeah. Let's go into the performance yesterday. Do we have it over here? Yes. Okay. Packet loss. Do you see this? It's a packet loss. Your performance SLA is not working. That's why. Do you see this? Because your VPN tunnel interfaces are down, as in my performance SLA is down. Okay. My performance SLA is not matching for both of the interfaces. That's why your route is not active. And that is why I'm not able to access the traffic even after my tunnel being up. And this is one of the major issues. People take about hours and hours to figure this out. And we took how much time? Just a couple of minutes. Yeah. Okay. So we know the performance SLA is a problem, but how will I fix this? Again, same thing. Remember, we used a command, packet capture. It's one of the most best command. Whenever I am training my students on the course, I give them like a 90-second challenge. Okay, it's this 90-second challenge is regardless of wherever you are stuck, whatever issue you are stuck, in 90 seconds you will be able to figure out the problem. And that's what I teach in the course. In 90 seconds, how to figure out the problem. Okay, let's do this. So diagnose sniffer packet any. Okay, and I'll take up ICMP. Reason is that I want to understand the performance SLA. Is it sending the traffic or not? Okay, it is sending the traffic. VPN 1 out, VPN 2 out, going to 12.3. Okay, I do not see a response. Do you see this? It's all the echo request. Yeah. So no worries. Let's go into FortiGate 2. So I'll take up a packet capture over here and see what's happening. So diagnose sniffer packet any. I'll filter for ICMP 40L. And let's see, do we have something over here or not? Okay, so see over here, I'm not even getting any packets. That means something is breaking. Okay, so let's see, diagnose debug application IKE -1. Okay. Okay, so we'll go into FortiGate 1 and sending the traffic out VPN 2 and VPN 1. Okay, but on the FortiGate 2 side, I'm not even getting any packets. Let's try this again. Okay. So let me try one thing more. From PC5, let me ping this guy, 1024.5179. Okay. So see, this is a good news. A timeout is still a good news. You know why? Because timeout basically tells me that the traffic is going at least from the FortiGate side. Do you see this? There you go. Do you see this? Port 3 in, which is my see this. Port 3 is my LAN segment. Port 2 is the other side. So port 3 in for 24.179 and it's sending the traffic through VPN 1. So this makes sense. At least it is sending the traffic out. Okay. Let's see on FortiGate 1. We have IP addresses mentioned over here. We have port 1 and this is also there. Let's go into the SD-WAN. We have it over here as well. Static routes. We have it over here as well. Okay, so the configuration looks okay. It's still not working. Let's try to figure this out. Okay. All right. So we'll go into the pack this side and we'll take up an ICMP, but this time a little different. Okay, I'll say source All right. And I'll say 10.25.12.3. Okay. I'll just use this as the source command. Okay. And from this PC5, I'll try to ping this up. Okay. You see this? It's not getting received over here. Okay. So the tunnel is up. The traffic is actually going out. Okay. From one side, but I do not see it on the other side. You see this? One of the most rarest issues. Okay. Mostly it's an ISP problem, but in our case, we are the ISP, right? So what we are going to do is I'll quickly check a couple of things on the ISP, although not required though, but I'll check. Let me see. So ISP 1, 2, and 3, right? So ISP 1, get system interface, and I'll grab this for port 1. It's 0.4. Okay. ISP. Okay, show router static port 1 0.7, which is supposed to be my ISP3. I believe get system interface, grab it for port 1, and I do have 0.7. That's good. Show router static, and I can reach it where 4 and 3, 27 and 26. That makes sense. Leave, get system interface, grab it for port 1. Do I have on 3? That's fine. Show router static. It's configured as well. This is fine. Okay, so diagnose, debug, application IKE -1. So let me try this again. It's not doing anything. So if I come onto the dashboard, IPSEC monitor, it's ISP. I know this that if I do this. So let me do, I have to do this. Okay. So see, sometimes this happens in the lab environment. So we're going to power off the devices, all of them. Okay. And we'll power on as well. So sometimes something cached up or some, some interfaces get stuck in a state in the lab. This happens if you're running a heavy, lab setup. I'm running a lot of things actually. So this happens. So we'll power it off, again, power it on, and then we'll try it again. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's start all the nodes now, and let's try this again once more. Okay, and as I said, the debug commands, the debug app IKE -1 and packet sniffer, and the routing, get router info. These are the three most important commands when you are working on any VPN issues. I mean, these three commands will basically help you out in 90% of any situations. All right. So let's see. Okay, this is up, and let's see if this should work this time now. Okay. So FortiGate, we have it running or not. I'm just trying to, yeah, it's up. It's up. Let's try this again. Okay. Oh, it's not power on. Okay, let me try again. Power on. Yeah. Okay, so let me try again. Same IP 10.25.3. And a timeout is a good one. Still, basically, it is not giving me an inactive issue. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I got 999. That's too much. Let's try this again. Timing out. Okay, so let's see. We'll try from PC5 as well. PC5. Okay, and I keep forgetting the IP address. Ping 10.24.5.179. Okay. Yeah, finally, there you go. So we can see the traffic is working. Okay, the 4ms values. I'm able to reach the other side, the VPN traffic. Okay, I'll try once more. Let's see. It's timing out. Okay, so let's do one thing. I know you have a couple of questions, so I'll stop over here. I'll take up a break. Let's see what questions you have, what doubts you have, and then we'll again come back and see what the problem is and how to fix this problem. Okay, 1 second, guys. Okay. So I'm just checking up the questions. No questions. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to try again this time. Let's see if this works out. 4. Okay. Okay. All right. So this, yes, as I said that, sometimes what happens is something gets cached up in the VM environment. So that's why I powered off all the systems and powered it on again. Okay. Because from the configurations perspective, it was absolutely fine. All right. Now, if something like this happens in your environment, the best way to fix this up is to first of all check, as we did, packet captures, understand whether you are receiving the traffic or not. Okay, if in case you're not receiving the traffic, then the best way to handle this is just power off your VPN or tear down your VPN and then initiate the VPN connection again. That will fix the problem. Okay, but what happens is sometimes some IP, some data gets cached and it doesn't really work. Okay, so in this cases, this is only the rare cases where you have to tear down the VPN tunnel and then uh, make it up again. Now, what I wanted to show you is the final testing. The final piece of testing is that I'll go ahead and implement a continuous ping. Okay, so I have a continuous ping running. Okay, now I'll go ahead and show you on I'll show you on the let me have changed the look and feel, because a dark theme, I feel it's much better. Anyway, so let me show you quickly. See, we have IPSEC VPN, both of them are running. Okay. Now what I want to show you over here is that what if I, just let's say one of the interfaces goes down, what will happen to the ping? Okay, so let's try this out. Okay. So we'll go into the interfaces. Okay. Now, before even I do that, let me show you one thing quickly. So I'll log in. Okay. Diagnose sniffer packet any. Okay. And I'll say host. Ten dot 24.5.179, right? And for 10L. Okay. I'll show you what kind of packets are coming in and out. Okay. Now you see the traffic is coming in from port 2. Yeah, you see this? Why is it port 2? Because it's entering from the LAN segment, right? So from LAN segment is entering up and it says 10.24.179. Okay, that's absolutely fine. My source IP going to 25.13, that's the destination. And then you can see its traffic is leaving from VPN 1. Okay, it's getting out. Same IP address, same destination IP. Okay, and then you can see from VPN 1 in, and you are getting the traffic back, as in the reply, the echo reply. Okay, quickly give me a yes or no. Are you able to understand or follow this? All of you. Are you able to understand these three lines, how the traffic is moving forward from the LAN interface to the VPN interface? Okay, good. All right. Now, what I wanted to show you over here is that, see, this is continuously going on. Okay. What I'll do is I'll go into port 3. Okay. Why? Because it's using VPN 1, right? I'll use this disable. Okay. And once I do this, let's see what happens. Okay. See, there's not even a single drop in the packet. Isn't that good news? So basically what has happened is that your traffic is now taking up VPN 2 rather than VPN 1. Do you see this now? So I'll again take this up. I'll just use 5 packets. Okay, let's see. There you go. Do you see this? Do you see the difference over here? Very good. Initially, it was taking a VPN 1 for forwarding the traffic. Now it is using VPN 2 to forward the traffic. Is it clear to all of you? Give me a yes and no in the chat box quickly. Okay. Now, what I am going to do is I am going to do this again, enable. Okay. So the reason behind enabling it again was to make you understand that what will happen to the packet capture. Okay. Now if I look over here, the packet is still running. Now you tell me, give me a wild guess. What do you think? Is the traffic going through VPN 2 or is it going through VPN 1? What do you think? Quick. Okay. So Rajesh says it's going through VPN 1. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Chalo, let's see what's the interface. Okay. Still taking VPN 2. Why? Why is it taking VPN 2? That's because your session table is also over here, right? Get system session list, all right? 10.24.5.179. Okay. So you see this, how many packets are going in. Okay. So it's already a session. Okay. The session is already there. And that is the reason behind, having this. Okay. If I do this here. So what will happen is that all the traffic is actually going through your VPN interface. All right. Hence the reason it's taking up your VPN 2. Let me show you. Okay. Now see, it came up. Why? Because see, all of these ICMPs, right? They have a timer. Okay. As soon as this timer of 60 seconds gone down, okay, it went back to VPN 1. Okay. That's why. Because the session table was already there for 60 seconds, so do not have to change anything. Once that 60-second was over, it changed to VPN 1. Yeah. Do you remember initially when I started off, what did I say? I did say that it will always prefer first kind of an interface, and if in case it goes down, it will take up the another interface or ISP2, and once the ISP1 comes back online again, it is going to take up that. Right. So point is, with today, what we did was we were able to configure the SD-WAN, we were able to configure the IPSEC V1, we were able to troubleshoot the VPN situations and scenarios with debug commands. All right. And we also were able to understand the packet flow. All right. This is how you understand the packet flow. All right. How the traffic is coming in, how is it going out. Okay. When is it taking port 1? When is it taking port 2? Okay, very, very important actually. And SD-WAN is all about performance yesterday. If it is configured correctly, it will take up, it will really do wonders for you. Do you see this? VPN 1, VPN 2, what is the amount of MS values? 4.2 and 3.95. Just on the basis of these, it creates so much sense into the network, right? Automatically making up a decision on what to use, when to use, and all that. Okay. So point is that when it comes to the SD-WAN, this is how you configure and do your lab practice. Now, before we conclude the session, I just want to tell you one thing real quick. If in case you want to, understand this on a very more deeper level, you can connect to me any day, anytime. Okay. You have the details, contact details, please connect. Okay. Apart from this, if in case you want to, go ahead, maybe join, I'll be, joining this, sorry, I'll be starting off a new batch real soon for NSC 4. And if in case you would like to enroll into that, you are welcome to do that as well. Yes, I'll go ahead and, share this recording to all of you who have registered. So do not worry, you will get this recording. Now, I always say whenever I'm sharing this, that there's always room for part 2. So if in case in this session you felt that you would like to get answers to a couple of more questions, or there were certain things which was missed out, or there were certain things which could also be added into this to make it more interesting, to make it more comprehensible, you do let me know. Okay, so I'll definitely create another session on that as well. So for now, this is pretty much it. Okay, and let me conclude the session, and I'll share this recording with all of you. Okay, if you have any questions, do let me know in the chat, and I'll probably go ahead and unmute you as well. So if in case you have a question, you are free to ask. I have allowed all of you to unmute yourself as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If not, then I'll go ahead and share this recording with all of you real soon. Okay, no questions? Sure. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, guys. So let me conclude the session now. And it's been 2.5 hours today. We went on this. So again, anything you want to add on to this, or anything that you would like me to have make a session on that, please let me know. We'll do that as well. Okay. All right, guys. See you in the next class. Bye-bye. Good night.